Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirasesa Sunyavadi Pasitya Deshitarane. A few days ago I saw a statement on a shirt. Love yourself. I thought, well, that's a nice thing to see. Love yourself. But a lot of people have a misunderstanding of the self. Some people, actually most people, think the self is the body. Some people think it's the mind. Some people think it's a soul, which it is. The self is the soul. Like many great saintly persons and philosophers, Socrates, Plato, had a firm understanding that we're the soul within. And this is the reality. The body is it's a vessel for the soul. And what is this body? This body has about 78 organs in it. But we're not these organs. Maybe about 6 quarts of blood. We're not this blood, we're not these organs. It's like there's affectionate relationships, so we're not having affectionate relationships with these organs, with this blood, There's something else. The consciousness, the soul. It's like when we were children, we used to see puppet shows. Sometimes you see little 2-year-old kids watching this puppet show. And because they're innocent young children, they think that the puppet is real. Voices come in, they're moving around, and so they actually think that the puppets are real. But then after the show, excuse me, they see that it's just a costume. They see the reality. So this body is also like a costume. It's our Halloween costume that we wear throughout the year. It's a costume, it's not who we really are. And we've had previous bodies before we got this body. And we're going to continue on according to our karma. But the best body to have is a spiritual body. See, these bodies are going to die. They're going to get old. Yeah. I'm feeling that now. Old age coming on, creeping on. Just like people, they get old and they try to hide their old age. Yeah. Sometimes people, they lose their hair on the top and they let it grow here and they flip it over. Try to hide the bald spot. And then the wind comes and people try to hide their, they get gray hair and they dye their gray hair and look younger. Also, shaving up actually helps you look younger too. We shave our head, you don't see the bald spot, you don't see the gray hair, so it's an in thing, Shaving the head. The soul is actually eternal. Continues on after this body. I was just reading in our books that the spiritual body is our original body, we had a spiritual body. And in the spiritual world, everybody has spiritual bodies. And in the spiritual world, it's a constant festival. It's a festival of pleasure. That's the spiritual world. And the Bhagavad Gita is it's a guidebook on how to go back to the spiritual world. It's actually a ticket to the spiritual world. But you have to follow the instructions, which is not easy, but it's very pleasing to the soul. We reawaken our true nature of the soul. We all have 4 defects. Sorry to let you know. We have imperfect senses. We all make mistakes. Anybody here never made a mistake? Oh, we got one right back there. She never made a mistake. There's one joke. He was like that. He said, you know, there was one time that I thought I was wrong, but I was actually right. So yeah, we all make mistakes, sometimes daily. We have imperfect senses. Sometimes you may see that a rope. It looks like a rope, but it's a snake. Dangerous. Maya, you gotta be good if you want to stay in here. Otherwise, your mother's gonna have to escort you out. Good. So we have a tendency to be an illusion. And the main illusion in the world now is people are thinking that we're the body, that we're American, we're Russian, we're Filipino, we're Japanese. This is all temporary. So this is a designation. Which is not. It's an illusion. So we have a tendency to be an illusion. We also have a cheating propensity. Anybody have any idea how many policemen there are in this country? Take a guess. Wow, 10 million. Okay. Huh? 700,000. About 700. I looked it up. Just you Googled it. You know. So there's a lot of people cheating. You know, there's thieves, and so many. I have a friend. He lives in a protected neighborhood. You know, you have to, in order to get in there, you have to stop at one of these kiosks, and you got to be allowed in. And even in there, where there's protected area, one lady was robbed, and then they had a neighborhood meeting, and the leader said, if you want to be sure that you're not going to be robbed, you got to have a dog. They all got dogs, even in a protected neighborhood. So there's a lot of cheating going on. Imperfect senses. Tendency to be an illusion. So then one may ask, well, we have all these imperfections, so then how can we understand what the truth is if we have all these imperfections? Right? It'd be a good question, right? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Rajavidya, Rajaguyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam, that this knowledge is the king of education. It's the most secret of all secrets. And it is directly perceived. You get realization. By practicing this Krishna consciousness, you get direct realization. You realize that you're the soul within. There's no room for doubt. Actually, just by chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, our intelligence gets purified, our mind gets purified, and you get realization. You're not the body. You're the soul within. You're the eternal soul within. And it's a nice feeling to get that realization. So although we may have faults, imperfect senses, tendency to be an illusion, cheating propensity, imperfect senses, still, this mantra and this knowledge given in Bhagavad Gita gives one firm faith that we're the soul within. And sometimes people say, it's just faith, it's sentimental. But everybody has faith. Just like there's so many students in the universities, and they have faith. I'm going to go through the school system, I'm going to get a degree, get a nice job. Or when they get on a plane, we all have faith that the pilot, he isn't drunk. Actually, I do a lot of flying, and one time I got off the plane, and one of the airline stewards, he told the police that there was one of the pilots, he was drunk. So police took him, they tested him and found he was drunk while he was driving the plane. Of course, he was fired. But yeah, we have faith in so many things. When we drive down the street, we have faith that the other drivers are good drivers, right? We have that. There's a lot of bad drivers out there, so you never know, but we have that faith. So yeah, faith is a natural thing. So yeah, we have faith in the teachings of Krishna. I wanted to read something. One of my favorite stanzas in the Bhagavad Gita. Perk up your ears. This is sweet. You're going to like this. Krishna says, this perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind. So it's kind of like we have two minds. It's like when we were children, we used to see in the cartoons, you got the devil over here saying, hey, come on, let's go have a good time. And then the angel's over here, okay, don't listen to that guy, he's going to put you in trouble. Come on, just, live a nice, moral life. Remember those on the shoulders, right? So the mind is like that. People have dirty minds. There's a lot of dirty minds in the world. And then there's a clean mind. So this process is meant to clean our mind, free us of the dirt in the mind. And we all have, dirty moments in the mind, right? But the mind can be completely cleansed by this yoga process. It's possible. Actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna, he says that there's austerities of the mind. Mana prasadak saumyatvam, monam atma vinigraha. To be satisfied is an austerity of the mind. It's like people in general around the world, they want to have a lot of things. And therefore this is a consumer society. So many things that people want. So to be satisfied in spiritual life, that's an austerity of the mind. Manapasadak saumyadvam, to be honest, it's an austerity. There's one person who was famous for never telling a lie. Yudhisthira, 5,000 years ago, we're going way back. Never told a lie. So that doesn't say much for everybody else. Right? One person. Never told a lie. Yudhisthira. So to be honest with ourselves also, sometimes we have this air about ourselves that we're something wonderful, we're something great. Actually, the soul within this body, the person who we actually are, is so small we can't see it. You can't see the soul. Although it exists, it's not material, it's anti-material. It's anti-material. This is the soul. There's one doctor in Toronto who saw many people die right in front of him. He's looking in their eye, and they die. And from seeing so many people die in that way, he was convinced that it was the soul leaving the body. Because a luster would leave their eye just at the time of death. A luster would leave, and he was convinced that was the soul leaving the body. And our spiritual master, the founder, Acharya of our society, Prabhupada, he heard about this, and he got some. They were corresponding with one another, and Prabhupada says, "You've come to a very good conclusion about who we actually are." So again and again they had some correspondence. So Prabhupada was impressed by his understanding of this. So yeah, we're going to continue according to our activities. But the whole goal is to have a pure mind. If we have a pure mind, we have a pure soul, then when the body dies, the soul goes to the spiritual world. So this is actually the perfection of the human form of life. So I wanted to continue with this. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Pretty deep, huh? That's deep. And that's just one verse from the Bhagavad Gita. I heard that Einstein said if I was stuck on this planet with only one book to read, this would be it, Bhagavad Gita. Because it's timeless wisdom. It doesn't get old. You can read it over and over and over again, and each time you read it, you get new insight in the subject matter. New realization. That's transcendental knowledge. So one interesting thing here where Krishna says that he is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. I'm sure all of us have been through some turmoil in our life, but sometimes that's good. Just like they have that post-traumatic stress syndrome. So there's also post-traumatic wisdom. Sometimes difficulties in our life can help us grow spiritually. Just like they have the saying that one door closes, another door opens. Right? You've all heard that. So sometimes people, it's just so traumatic, it's so difficult, but if we're a little insightful, like, wait, maybe there's something good that can come out of this. And it happens so much. But if we get too much in depression, we lament too much, then we don't see the other door that's opening up for us. So we have to be open to other wonderful things happening in our life. So maybe I'll stop there. If there's any question or comment, we have a microphone here.
All right, taking questions. Would anybody like to ask a question? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you're going to start it off, our Matthew.
Okay. Did we just practice Bhakti Yoga tonight?
Yes, this Bhakti Yoga is the highest step on the ladder of yoga. You know, there's jnana and there's hatha and there's dhyana. So Bhakti means love. So this Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna, and it's meant to help us understand our spiritual nature and to connect. Actually, this word yoga means connection. The soul's connection with the Supreme Soul. You know, we all, I think I mentioned in the beginning of the talk that you love yourself. So we all love ourselves. We take care of our body. If there's some danger, then we protect ourselves, right? We love ourselves, and that's okay. But what is it that we're loving? Is it the body? Or is it the soul? The reason we love our body, the reason we take care of it so well, is because we, the soul, are in the body. That's why we have so much affection for this body. It's not so much for these organs in the body, the liver and the intestines and the gallbladder, you know, we don't have affection for that. It's the soul within that we are, and therefore we love this body, or apparently. And the reason we have so much love for this body, or we have the soul, is because the soul is part of that Supreme Soul, Krishna. He's the Supreme Soul. And Bhakti means this connection of the soul with the Supreme Soul, Krishna. And the nature of the soul is, as I mentioned earlier, eternality, knowledge, and bliss. So this is the nature of the soul. We're naturally very happy, and therefore we always want to be happy, isn't it? And knowledge, we want knowledge, and therefore there's schools, we want to learn things. And no one wants to die. But we're stuck in these bodies that's going to die. Right? This body's going to die. We don't want it to die, but we're stuck in these bodies. It's going to die. You know, there's so much ignorance. And also, unfortunately, there's a lot of unhappiness in the world, especially now in Ukraine. So difficult circumstance there. But throughout the world, there's so many problems people have to deal with. But when our true nature is awakened, eternality, knowledge, and bliss, then we're very happy, very satisfied. Shanti. Who knows what Shanti means? Peace. Yeah. So I've been speaking about the soul. So who here thinks you have a soul? Actually, we don't have a soul. We are the soul. We are the soul. We're just covered by these bodies. So is any other question or comment? Or yes, we have a microphone coming right to you momentarily.
I guess my question is: so, are we only to serve Lord Krishna, or could we worship Lord Shiva if we wanted to, for example? Or that's my question.
Okay, good question. Yeah, there's different demigods. In the West, we're not aware of demigods. So Shiva, he's a demigod, and he's called Nataraj. He does a dance of destruction, and he's actually the greatest servant of Krishna. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. So he serves Krishna. He's a great devotee of Krishna. So if one wants to please Lord Shiva, then he will also do what Lord Shiva is doing, which is serving Krishna. Yeah, that's the best thing we can do is serve Krishna. We're all servants. Yeah. The nature of the soul is actually to serve, just like the nature of sugar is sweet. The nature of chili, it's hot. If sugar is not sweet, it's not sugar. So we're the soul within, we're part of Krishna, so our natural position is to serve Krishna. And if we don't want to serve Krishna, then we serve society, or we serve the dog, or we serve our family, or the service is there. Okay? Any other question? Yes, we have a question over here.
On a slightly related note, I feel like I remember learning that Krishna was one of the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. Is that right?
Well, this is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but then it's also mentioned in the same book, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, which means that Krishna, he's the source of all incarnations. There's many incarnations. Vishnu is an incarnation of Krishna.
Oh, so Vishnu is an incarnation.
He is an incarnation of Krishna.
Okay.
Also, yeah. And there's so many incarnations of Krishna. It's described that as many waves as there are in the ocean, that's how many incarnations of Krishna there are. But Krishna is the origin.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it's popularly known as such. Like that's how it's taught in the schools.
Oh.
That Krishna is the incarnation of Vishnu, but it's actually the other way around.
Yeah.
So in the scripture, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's popularly known the other way. So it's
And also in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, that I'm the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. So Vishnu never said that, but Krishna says it. So. Yes.
Do other Hindu sects teach that it's Vishnu? That
Some
have all
Hindu
incarnations?
sects say that it's that Vishnu is the origin of Krishna. Some, but if one looks throughout the Vedic literatures, one will come to the conclusion that Krishna is the source of all incarnations of Krishna and demigods and everything. Yes, you're welcome.
I guess my question is, so did this whole movement kind of begin with Srila Prabhupada?
Prabhupada, yes.
Or has this been, I guess, like a practice since the beginning, is my question.
Yeah, this process is called the Vaishnavism, or Varnashram Dharma. So the original person, actually in the creation, was Lord Brahma, who was a devotee of Krishna. Yeah, so this process that we're teaching right now has been around since the beginning. Yeah. So we're just, Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, he just wanted to spread this message around the world. And that's why we're here. Because a devotee is very compassionate. Devotees have wonderful qualities. And this is the nature of the soul, is they have divine qualities. Yeah. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom. And actually we're attracted to people according to qualities. This is what makes a person attractive. Just like there may be, for example, there may be a person here in America, Miss America, very beautiful. But her qualities aren't so nice. She gets angry very easily. She criticizes. She just foul language. Just the type of person you wouldn't want to spend much time around. But she's very beautiful. So for a short time you'd want to spend some time around. On the other hand, you have a person who's not very attractive, but has very good qualities. Kind, generous, good sense of humor, just all around good qualities, peaceful, self-controlled, pure, just all good qualities. Then such a person, although she may not be very attractive, because he has good qualities, one wants to spend time with him, because good qualities rub off, right? And bad qualities also rub off. So it's the consciousness, it's the good consciousness that is attractive, the pure consciousness. So this process is all about developing pure consciousness, so that everybody will want to hang around you. Yes. Hi. What is your name?
My name is Oleg.
Oleg, nice meeting you. Is it on? Okay.
Now it's on.
Now it's on. Oleg, I never heard that name before. You probably never heard mine either. Vijaya.
Vijaya. No, I heard Vijay before, but not with a ya afterwards.
Okay.
Jai, Vijaya. I got a question about like Narayan.
Yeah?
So it's not like Vishnu, he demigod. Is he a demigod too? Cause
Vishnu?
So Krishna, he's like the god. He's like there's Krishna and then there's Rama, right? And is Rama?
He's an
like
incarnation
Krishna?
of Krishna also. Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Ramachandra, they're all incarnations of Krishna. They're all coming from Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna.
So Rama is Krishna.
He's coming from Krishna. He's an incarnation of Krishna.
So
Lord Rama.
what about Shakti?
Shakti,
Shakti.
also coming from Krishna.
So it's all Krishna is yin and yang.
He's everything.
And everything.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We actually do. We do have one. Yeah, big. We have a big diagram of everything. Yeah. We'll have it. We'll try to have it for you next week. Yeah. Try to come next week. Maybe we'll have it for you next week. Yeah. Yes.
So, since Krishna is the source of all things, including material, should we love our material possessions we get to own in this life?
Well, maybe not love, but we can use things in the service of Krishna. But if we love things in this world, then that means we have to stay in this world. So things aren't bad. Just like, I'll give you an example. A knife. A knife in the hand of a surgeon is very good, because we know he's going to help us with the knife. We have faith. We pay a lot of money. So much faith, we pay so much money. But the same knife in the hand of a murderer, it's not good. He can hurt somebody. So it's the same knife, but there's a different consciousness, that's holding the knife. So if we have things and we're utilizing them in the service of Krishna, that's fine. Just like here in the temple, we have cars. So we use these cars in the service of Krishna. We only use them for the service of Krishna. We don't use the car to go out to the bars here on the Grand Avenue, or like a lot of people do. So yeah, we don't misuse things. So one may ask, well, how do we know how to use things? Therefore, we have the Bhagavad Gita. You have a Bhagavad Gita? You do? Oh, very good. By the way, who here does not have a Bhagavad Gita? One? Everybody else has a Bhagavad Gita? Two? Come on. 3, 4. Anybody else? 4? Wow, we got a good crowd. Everybody here, practically almost everybody has a Bhagavad Gita. That's pretty good. Okay, so we have Bhagavad Gitas right here. And I think there's a donate. If you like, you can give a donation in the donation box there. If you like, also, it's my favorite book. It's timeless wisdom. I forgot. I lost count on how many times I read it. I've read it at least 10 times. It's amazing. It's just wonderful information. So that gives us guidance on how to use things, not misuse. We don't want to misuse. If we misuse, then we create karma, bad karma for ourselves. So, okay, is that all right? Anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
Wow, what a wonderful talk. Nice round of applause for Vijaya.